There he is. I think this is him.
Well, let me know when you want me to start then.
Okay, let me just help Nick here. I think this is it. Just so you know as well, we are also. There he is. I think this is him.
Serious feedback.
We're on YouTube Live, so.
Yeah, I just saw that. That's kind of cool, guys. Good job. I like it.
It's you got to be careful because you're delayed and it becomes difficult to keep it separate. So I can't look at it. Is this Nick that just came in? iPad 1044. That's Troy. You're saying?
Nick.
Yeah, I think that's me. I'm having trouble. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm having trouble with audio. I got bumped out of the policy committee meeting and having difficulty with audio now.
Okay.
The Foo Fighter disconnected it, so we're good.
So Judy, can you can hear us though, right?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So wait, Judy, are you just on one device?
Well, actually, I just went to my laptop to see if I could get on, and I'm still having trouble with the audio. I have the video, but
so this.
We hear you.
Okay.
It just kind of stopped in the middle or towards the end of that committee meeting.
Yeah, that was a technical issue.
Oh, okay. And now I can't get back in.
Is there's somebody that I renamed Judy M. Is that Judy M?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Yeah, but I have you on two devices now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have both of my devices open. I have my iPad and I have my laptop.
Got it.
Shall I go out and leave one of them?
Well, one of them has your video, and I think one has your audio. So I'm both going for now. We're just trying to get a hold of Nick.
Okay.
And I don't know if Kelly, can you get a hold of Nick?
Yes.
Yeah.
Real quick, Rose, what happened to your hand?
You need
I failed play.
you need fill light on your face, Casey. I can hardly see it.
I got my old laptop and it's not. It's not coming in.
Well, turn around, face the light, and the light's behind you.
I'm going to now. Go outside.
Well, you're half lit. I didn't mean that way, but you know what I mean.
Where's my hat?
So Rose, what did you do to your hand?
I was playing tennis. I went up for a shot, got twisted around and fell on my hand. I had to have surgery.
Oh.
It's a little worse still. I had surgery on Wednesday. Oh,
Yeah.
the bruise and whatever and plate or whatever. Yeah, I've got to play smart. That's the thing. I've got to learn to play smart.
Well,
Rub some dirt on it. You're good.
just go up and follow through on your shot.
Yeah.
Need eyes L flick, There you go. All right.
So Kelly, I'm trying to get Nick on. Do we want to go ahead and start with the first part of the meeting?
Okay, you want to start now? I'll do that.
Yeah, and I'll take.
Okay. Hang on a minute. Okay. Ready? Here we go. The regular board meeting of Tuolumne Superintendent of Schools will open at for August 10th, 2020 at 4:07 p.m. Okay, first thing on order is the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to do something a little different today. We have a jump ball. Who wants to volunteer? Volunteer for the pledge. Rose, would you like to do it?
I would love to do it.
Thank you.
We've got to have started with Rosie Day. Come on.
Begin.
I pledge
Pledge
allegiance
allegiance to the flag
Bye.
of the United States
States of America and to the republic
For which it stands,
One nation.
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with
liberty
liberty and
and
justice for all. Okay, roll call, please.
Okay. I don't see Nick here yet. Juliana?
Present?
Casey,
Yes, ma'am.
Dawn,
Here,
Cindy,
Here.
Rose,
Here.
and Judy.
Yes, here.
I think this might be Nick that's come in.
going to pause just a second here. I will.
Yes, thank you. And this says Nicholas's iPad, so I'm pretty sure this is Nick.
It says connecting.
He's getting here just in the nick of time.
Oh.
You've been saving that one, haven't you?
Well, I still think, what was it, Facebook, where they had all these books having a story left to right.
Oh, yes.
I made the comment, something like, my goodness, that's a novel idea.
Nick, it seems like, oh, Nick, you're there? There he
I'm
is.
here.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, hi, Nick.
Time, we're at roll call. So Nick, he's here. Great. You
Sure.
have a quorum.
Yes.
Okay, item 3, adoption of the agenda. If the county superintendent board determine they wish to delete or remove items on the agenda, this will be the appropriate time.
Did you want to, at this point, to change the agenda to reflect that you did not do or do not want to do introduction of guests?
Okay. Any
I
board,
would move that we do introduction of guests, or we remove introduction of guests.
I'll second it.
okay, any further board comment? Okay, there being none, is there public comment on this one? There's no public comment. We'll go to a board motion. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
Okay, it's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Those in, what roll call vote? I'm sorry. Should have further board discussion. You want to discuss more? Okay, board action, please. Roll call vote.
Nicholas Chernoff,
Aye.
Juliana Feriani,
Aye.
Katie Littleton,
Yes, ma'am.
Dawn Role,
Yes?
Cindy Simonson,
Aye.
Rose Wingo,
Yes.
Judy Myers.
Aye.
Agenda's been adopted.
Okay, very good. You know, I didn't get a frog in my throat till I just got online here. I don't know, I've got one now. Here we go. Introduction of guests. Are we doing that? Probably
No,
not.
no, you skipped that in your agenda approval.
Yeah, okay, that's right. Public comment. Public may address the board. Whoop, we can't do that. Oh, yeah, we can. Board, any matter that is not on the agenda. If somebody's online, we can do that.
There were no emailed comments to me prior to the board agenda.
Okay, very good. So consent agenda.
Okay.
Okay, let's go with it. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine and all will be enacted by one motion with a vote. There'll be no separation or separate discussion of these items unless a member of the board or staff requests an item be removed for separate action. Any items removed will be considered after the action is taken on the remainder of the consent agenda. Staff overview, please.
So even though it might look a little funny in your agenda, under the consent agenda, you have 3 board meeting minutes. They're the ones from June 25th, July 1st, which was the special board meeting, and then the board retreat minutes from July 13th. In addition, you have an approval for the Williams quarterly report. That should all be done under one action, even though I know it looks a little different maybe on your board agenda.
Okay, but board comment. I think those were the adjustments we were looking at. Public comment. Close public comment. Is there a motion, please?
I make a motion, Juliana Feriani, to accept the consent agenda with the Williams Act and the 3 minutes for the 3 meetings. Do I
Is
need
there
to look at the dates or I'm good?
You're good.
Okay, perfect.
That's
Okay,
Casey. I
is there a
second
second to this motion?
it. Casey, I second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor, roll call.
Nicholas Chernoff, Nicholas Chernoff,
Let me unmute him.
Did-
He's muted. He doesn't know.
He's unmuted.
There you go.
Nicholas Chernoff,
Aye.
Juliana Feriani,
Aye.
Casey Littleton,
Yes, ma'am.
John Rollet,
Yes,
Cindy Simonson,
Aye.
Rose Wingo,
Yes.
and Judy Myers.
Aye.
Great. The consent agenda has been approved.
okay. Next item is approval of board minutes meeting on 6/25/20 and approval of a special board meeting minutes of
So
6/7.
Don, you just approved all those under the consent agenda. There was a little bit of a glitch on the way the board printed, so it looks like you have to do each item separate, but you just did all those. So you're gonna skip to, and we have no recognitions and presentations tonight, so you're gonna skip to item number 8, which
Okay,
is
we-
board committees.
Okay, now what I have on my agenda here that I have copied, I have approval of board minutes, which we supposedly did item 3. Do you see that?
Right, but you just did all of them under the consent agenda.
Yeah, I'm just,
There was a mistake on the printing. We put it under each item and we
Gotcha.
didn't need to.
yeah, so we're gonna go to 7 and 8 then.
Hey,
Okay, board committees. Policy committee, we had quite a bit to do here this last week, I guess. Comment?
So the board committee, the policy committee met and they have a report out on all of those board policies, ARs, and exhibits they reviewed. I don't know if someone would like to speak from the board policy committee.
I can give you the bare bones of it. The COVID mitigation BP 0470 is a brand new, of course, plan on training for all things COVID, I guess. I suspect this one is very much a work in progress and we'll see it again soon, but we have to start somewhere. Let's see, AR 3300 claims and actions against the district. This pertains to the special board meeting that we had where with closed session and a claim against the county. We added the superintendent as being able to respond to those claims as they come in, instead of just the board and having to assemble possibly for a special meeting in the future. Let's see, BP and AR 5141.2. Infectious disease, there's a new law 262. So we made some adjustments with notification requirements, and there's some prevention and mitigation for COVID-19 guidance in there as well. Please feel free to add or stop me if I'm wrong. PR 515.6, parental notifications. There's I think a new law on this one. There's an opioid fact sheet included, some lead testing notifications for preschools, and then it just cleans up some notification requirements as well. BP and AR 6142.7, physical education and activity. It clarifies credentialing. There are some language on exemptions in there. And then we've added the AR that we did not have before. Let's see, the BP AR 6159 for the IEPs. There are some law updates with safeguards and how to file a complaint. And then 6159.1, 6159.2. You give this just the bare bones on this one. I didn't take good notes here.
So 6159.1 is a board policy and an administrative regulation around new state regulation that talks about state compliance complaints, which establishes a complaint process that's separate from the UCP for non-compliance of federal or state laws regarding the provision of FAPE. That's the AR and the BP that goes along with it. And then there's a BP and an AR for 6159.2, which is around non-public, non-sectarian schools or agencies, and we have students in both in our SELPA, and it's a new law, AB 1172, that we're requiring districts to verify that those particular MPAs and MPSs provide staff training in the practices and interventions to the behavioral needs of those student populations. I don't know if Blaine knows. I don't know. I would expect that came out of some of the tragedies that happened around putting students in holds, and we've had a death in California. We've also had some deaths with students in NPSs outside of California. But that's what
There's just a lot of attention right now for monitoring really restrictive behavioral interventions like seclusion and restraint. So there's been a lot of litigation, and we are required to report to CDE any of the districts that engage in those types of intervention.
It really emphasizes the part of the component, which is the district is required to visit the MPA or MPS at the initial visit, at the initial placement, and clears up that language as well.
Juliana, Casey, do you have anything else you'd like to add there?
No, I everything was very clear. I would just think that we could recommend when we come to action to waiving the first reading and adopting the policies.
Agreed.
Okay. Any further comments on this? Okay, there being none, let's move to the action item 9, please. Approval of the update to board meeting calendar for 2020. Edition of September 21st, 2020 board meeting to comply with the learning continuity and attendance plan requirements. Due to the school closure, in addition to other state requirements, the meeting schedule for the Board of Trustees will need to be updated for the year 2020. The updated version of the board calendar reflects the addition of one additional meeting in September due to the requirements of the learning continuity and attendance plan due September 30th, 2020. Staff overview, please.
Right, so this is the LCAP that is not the LCAP. I put in the information items in the summary, just a summary of the plan and what is required to be in it. So it's like a little mini LCAP, but we're not supposed to call it an LCAP. And it follows the same kind of guidance in that you have to have a hearing for it. You have to have it at least 72 hours before the public hearing posted, and then you have to approve it at a meeting separate from that hearing. Since we don't have 2 meetings in September, we do need to add another meeting because it is due to the state by September 30th. It is not required to be approved by the state. That's who would be submitted to the county, to the CDE, but they could seek clarification or provide feedback back to us.
Any further comments on that? Okay, let's go to the board comment. Is there any board comment? Okay, public comment. There being none, we're going to close the public comment. Do I hear a motion on it, please?
I move that we accept the additional meeting and adjust the calendar as presented.
Hey, is there a second to that motion, please?
I will second that, Myers.
Sorry.
Very good, thank you. For any further board discussion now that we've done that? All right, let's go to the next item.
You need to do a roll call vote, Dawn.
Oh, that's right. We do need the roll call vote. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Okay, and we'll start off. Yeah, go ahead. Roll call. We've had a
Kelly, you're muted. Okay.
Nicholas Chernoff,
Aye.
Juliana Feriani,
Aye.
Casey Littleton,
Yes, ma'am.
Don Rowley,
Yes,
Cindy Simonson,
Aye.
Rose Wingo,
Yes.
Judy Myers.
Aye.
The addition to the board meeting calendar has been approved.
Okay, item number 2, below that, approval of funding selections for the consolidated application. The spring release of the consolidated application is to document participation in federal categorical programs and provide assurances that the county schools office will comply with the legal requirements of each program. Staff overview, please.
Yes, and I would like an alteration to this item. I would like, when you do your move to approve this, I would like you to add 2 other funding sources we're applying for, which is Title IV, Part A, and then the other one, that's called Student and School Support, and then Title V, Part B, Subpart 2, it's called Rural and Low Income Grant. I sent to you today, and it's also attached in our agenda, the application for funding that we need to submit to the CDE. And so those are the categorical programs that we're eligible for. Again, this is federal funding. And approximately, I'll give you an approximation of what we receive for each allotment. We did not take title dollars until about 3 years ago. There's quite a lot of reporting that goes along with it, so we have to ensure that we're not spending more staff time in the cost to administer the programs than we are bringing in those resources. So for Title I, we receive approximately $23,000. That's what we received last year. For our Title I Part D, we received $43,000. That's for neglected, delinquent, and at-risk youth. For our Title II, which is professional development, we received $2,452.
Wow.
And that's why we write grants. For Title IV, Part A, we receive the minimum base, which is $10,000. And I'm not sure what we'll be receiving for the Title V, Part B, Rural and Low Income Grant. But we do this every year to approve the funding selections for CONAP.
Okay, is there any board comment on this, please? Public comment? Close the public comment. Do I hear a motion, please?
This is Cindy. I move to approve the CONAP for all the listed parts, as well as Title 4.A and Title 5 Part B, Subpart 2.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
I'll second it, Juliana.
Any further board discussion? Okay, there being none, board action, roll call vote.
Nicholas Chernoff,
Aye.
Juliana Feriani,
Aye.
Casey Littleton,
Aye.
Don Rowley,
Yes, it's fine, yes.
Cindy Simonson,
Aye.
Rose Wingo,
Yes.
Judy Myers.
Aye.
The funding selections for the consolidated application have been approved.
Okay, our next item 3 has to do with the school attendance review board. So it's the approval of Tuolumne County Sub Board 2021. We'll consider approving a list of school administrators, law enforcement personnel, parents, social service agency representatives to the school attendance review board for the 2020-2021 school year. Okay. Any comment on this from staff?
The only thing I'd like to point out is we thought we were going to lose Mark Dyken on our SAR board, but we were able to bring him in as a director at the Resiliency Village. So he's still working with homeless youth.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
And then Gordon Whittingham, who's been our SRO for Sonora PD and then Sheriff's Department, he used all of under her so he could no longer work for any law enforcement agency, but he's going to come in as a member at large. And he's a large member too. So if you don't know, very well connected, and he loves kids, and so we're so excited to have him on still. And then Ashley Bojikin is our SRO from our Sheriff's Department, and she will be a full-time SRO, 100% of her time devoted to SRO work. So we have a really good board under Rob's direction. I'm really excited about it.
Okay, it's not listed here, but the board have any comment on this? Okay, public. Okay, there being none, is there a motion, please?
This is Judy Myers. I would move approval of Tuolumne County SAR Board 2020-21.
Do I hear a second, please?
Second, Nicholas.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote.
Nicholas Chernoff,
Aye.
Juliana Feriani,
Aye.
Casey Littleton,
Yes, ma'am.
Don Rowley,
Yes.
Cindy Simonson,
Aye.
Rose Wingo,
Yes.
Judy Myers,
Aye.
the Tuolumne County 2020-2021 SAR Board is approved.
Okay. Okay, item 4, approval of conflict of interest biennial notice. The Political Reform Act requires every local government agenda to review its conflict of interest code biennially. The board will consider approving conflict of interest code for the Tuolumne Superintendent of Schools office. Action items will appear as a motion, of course, and we'll just go through. We know that. So comment from staff?
So there was, when I saved it's the annual notice that's supposed to be signed, it looks like this. When I saved it as a PDF, the check mark doesn't come through. And then the little piece down at the bottom did not come through saying where you mail it to. And so I printed it and then we sent you a scanned copy because it wasn't saving as a PDF correctly. So that's the only thing that we have, we've altered. No amendments are required, so that box is checked, and I'll sign it as a CEO once I determine. Yes, we're gonna check on that, Kelly. I don't know if we have the old one. I don't know if they mean that the chairperson signs or if I sign.
Okay, I'll find out.
But since you have to approve it, I would imagine you have to sign it. But it's a biannual, meaning every 2 years, we do the conflict of interest and make sure all of our positions are listed correctly of who has to file Form 700. And that's what this is.
Okay, thank you. There's no comment for the board here necessarily. So you want me to admit that? I can. So let's go ahead and ask for, is there a motion, please?
This is Juliana. I move approval of the conflict of interest biennial notice.
Okay, second, please.
That's Casey. I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Casey. Alrighty, roll call vote.
Nicholas Chernoff,
Aye.
Juliana Feriani,
Aye.
Casey Littleton,
Yes, ma'am.
Don Rowley,
Yes.
Cindy Simonson,
Aye.
Rose Wingo,
Yes.
Judy Myers.
Yes.
Conflict of interest biennial notice has been approved.
Am I the only one that gets a real kick out of these votes? Because I'll tell you what, half of you are sailors and half of us are yes men.
I do.
All right, item 5, first reading, board policy 0470, COVID-19 mitigation plan, administrative regulation 3320 claims and actions against the district, board policy 5141.22, administrative regulation 5141.22, infectious diseases, so on. I'm just going to go through these. Physical education activity, in our policies for individualized education program, and policies, board policy and administrative regulations for procedural safeguards for special education. And then we have parental notifications for board policy on that. Okay, policy updates were reviewed by the Board Policy Committee at their August 10, 2020 meeting. The board will consider adoption of the attached board policies and approval of the attached administrative regulations. The board may choose to approve the changes now or bring them back for a second reading in September. Staff overview.
So the recommendation was made in the committee share out earlier in the information items to waive the first reading, waive the second reading and approve them today.
Okay. Okay, board comment? There being none, public comment? Okay, there being none, we'll close that. Do I hear a motion?
As Casey, I move we approve the action as presented.
And waive the second reading.
Waive the second reading based on the policy committee's recommendations.
Yay.
Is there a second? Excuse me, go ahead. Is there a second to that motion?
This is Cindy. I will second that motion.
Okay, very good. Any further board discussion?
Yes, Don, I would just like to thank Kathy so much for the work she does on these board policies, bringing them to us. It keeps the board up to date, and it makes it, she has made it very easy on the policy committee as far as being able to understand them and know what's new and everything. And I, for one, having been on this policy for many, many years, completely and wonderfully thank her from the bottom of my heart.
I always think I give you too many, so I'm glad you like them.
Well, we all know that she's a lovely lady, and she's kind of like a miracle worker, and she works her tail off. We all know that. And
Absolutely.
Yep. All right. So no further. How about board action? Would you like to do that? We do that. Let's see. Board action. I got caught up here. Board motion.
I think we're at roll call.
We're roll call, Betty.
That's it. We're roll call. Sorry.
Yeah, roll call.
Gotta get more
Nicholas
Aye.
Chernoff,
Aye.
Juliana Fariani,
Aye.
Casey Littleton,
Yes, ma'am.
Don Rollet,
Yes.
Cindy Simonson,
Aye.
Rose Wingo,
Yes.
Judy Myers,
Aye.
BP 0470, BP 541.22, BP 6142.7, BP 6159, BP 6159.1, BP 6159.2, BP 5145.6, and Exhibit 5145.6 have been adopted. AR 3320, AR 5141.22, AR 6142.7, AR 6159, AR 6159.1, AR 6159.2 have been approved.
You're just showing off now.
Yeah. Good job.
Actually, though, I mean, it's very.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Got them all. What a tongue twister.
All right. Item 10, discussion items, COVID-19 update. Superintendent Parker, it's your floor. Go ahead.
I know this is an item of interest. I am not going to take the whole time. I actually asked several of the staff members if they would report out on some specific things that they're working on. I do want to tell you that I just received the public health update. As you might have heard, there was quite a snafu at the state level in the California Department of Public Health. Dr. Angel resigned last night. We don't know all the details for it. I received just now the update from our local public health officer. We currently do not have accurate data coming in. The state has said that they have worked through the weekend to repair it, so now they're validating that data. They can share positively that we do have 3 additional cases today, but again, they're going to play a lot of catch up this week. We are still working under the trajectory that we were on when we made a decision to shift to distance learning as a county. It's caused a lot of anxiety in people, but we do know that cases in Calaveras and Amador are really increasing, and not just due to nursing homes or convalescent homes. So, and then again, we know that Stanislaus and Merced, which are our 2 and San Joaquin, which, you know, surround us, they are still in the midst of an incredible crisis and are considered a hotspot in the nation. So with that update, I'm going to report out for Tracy, and I don't think Tracy's on here right now. But Tracy, I wanted to let you know, Tracy led the response, led the development of the response team along with our county nurse, Martha Stolt. So we've trained all of the districts in a response team model on how to respond if a student and or staff member is tested positive, or they come down with symptoms while at work, or when eventually we return to school. So that took a lot of work around that. I have Troy. I'd like Troy is there. He is. Troy.
Thank you, Kathy. We have 22 hotspots provided by the CDE running on the T-Mobile network that will be pairing with Chromebooks and distributing to students and their families later this week. We've started handing out Chromebooks to all of our instructional aides. We've been able to rework some of the devices that we've had, and we're going to go one-to-one effectively with all of our students and all of our aides, and of course all of our teaching staff, itinerant staff. They already have devices, so we're in a good spot to hand a device to everybody who needs one and get them connected and running.
Great.
That's right. And then I have Brian to report on some PD that we've done.
Good afternoon. Yeah, we've been hitting our teachers pretty hard with some professional development over the last week. We had 12 sessions of CUE, computer using educators led sessions. We had 300 or more signed up, and many of those teachers are taking units as well. We've had a countywide adoption of a student engagement platform called Nearpod, which will really allow us to do some cross-district collaboration, as well as provide professional development on one platform, which is really exciting. So we will be working with our districts to provide further, and our county schools, provide further trainings in the upcoming weeks and months.
Great reviews on that training, good training. Lisa is going to give a 45-day update, but I wanted her to fill you in on a couple other items.
So for, hi everyone, for our countywide learning loss mitigation funds, also known as the CARES Act funds, our county was allocated just over $4 million throughout all of our districts, including our charter schools. So that's great. And I'll go into some detail of our allocation shortly, but I also wanted to touch on the nutrition services issues that we're having right now. We're just having some challenges in terms of finding one of the high schools to vend the meals for our program. So and this is an annual issue. So this year we are going to meet with either a local restaurant or a grocery store to provide nutritional meals for our students for our programs. So we're working with the department heads to secure some contracts for those services for the fiscal year.
Very good, Lisa. Thank you.
And Diana, do you want to talk about the LCAP that's not the LCAP?
I can do that briefly. Kathy already gave a description of this, but as you know, annually we fill out the local control and accountability plan. There will not be an LCAP for 2021. That's being replaced with a plan that they gave the same acronym. So the Learning Continuity and Attendance Plan. And each district, charter school, and county office is required to submit this plan. She went over the very tight timeline, so it has to go to a hearing and be adopted in 2 separate board meetings by September 30th. The plan is very COVID specific, and it's really intended to pull together the planning that districts are doing for this school year that's already in progress. The prompts are about in-person instructional offerings, distance learning plans, how to address pupil learning loss, mental health and social well-being for students and staff, and school nutrition program. So that will be topics that will be addressed in the plan.
And then,
Hey, sir.
and Blaine is here to talk about special education because that's a huge concern.
Did you have any questions for Diane? I'm sorry.
No, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, and I always love to say last but never least is special education. I think it's really important that people understand that the Individual for Disabilities Education Act, the federal law, and that guides services for special education students it remains, and it's really a big challenge, I think, for our teachers across the county, because not only do they have to provide distance learning and quality distance learning, they also have to adhere to the requirements for child find and assessment, for conducting appropriate IEP meetings, and for really just responding to parental concerns. There's a big issue is as a result of this, districts are all accountable for having to provide compensatory education or makeup services for learning loss that's occurred during this pandemic. And so there's a lot of concern statewide about the potential for increased litigation. We've been working all summer and on our plan so that when teachers come back and our county teachers come back, they know exactly what is expected, and also they have the appropriate supports in place so that they can get going day one. We've been working very closely with parents. Kathy has scheduled these regular parent meetings, and the feedback, even though they're not hugely attended, I think is representative, and we've been listening very closely to that. We hold weekly county-wide special education teacher meetings, but superintendents and principals also are invited and participate. And the purpose of those meetings is just to make sure that they have the supports that they need so that they can continue to not only provide instruction, but also, once again, adhere to the requirements of federal special education law. Recently, SB 98 was passed, Senate bill, and it's provided some clarification as well on how to implement special education law. So we've been offering that as a support as well. All students and in the county and at TCSOS should be receiving appropriate services, both related services, which includes speech language, occupational therapy, adaptive physical education, counseling and therapy services, behavioral services. Those services are in place. And so all students should be receiving not only instructional services, but also related services as per their distance learning plans that is being recommended that. And the distance learning plans ensure that parents not only have accessibility and that students have accessibility issues, or at least documents the need to address those concerns, but then also addresses the IEP goals and objectives. We're also establishing a work group. Our related service providers are just beginning to return. Our districts are very concerned about the requirement to conduct IEPs and annual assessments, triannual 3-year reevaluations, and initial assessments. And it's very difficult to conduct valid assessments for students when they're not in school. So this task force is not only developing procedures for how we can hopefully start to do some level of individualized live in-person assessment or online assessment that's valid. And then also how we can begin to serve our students with the most significant needs. And I'm not sure what Kathy has been able to share regarding the waiver process, but we're hoping to, as soon as possible, bring in small cohorts of students and to try to provide services as quickly as possible. We're continuing to work with other agencies, including Behavioral Health and Valley Mountain Regional Center. We're providing services from infant through age 22. We're like everybody else. We're kind of making up and adjusting our plans, but I feel very confident that the kids will get as good as possible services as is required by law.
Blaine's busy.
Yeah, Blaine's kind of in a catch-22. It's a tough thing to cover, and I can understand it. And I would hate to see litigation open up over some petty little things. As long as we can serve the big picture, I think that's great. But I hope that's enough. Okay.
I would just, is it board comment?
Yeah, well, I'm ready for board comment.
That was all I had for the discussion item, but we have an information item. Lisa does need to present the 45-day budget revision.
Okay, I just wanted to say, tell Brian that I've gotten so much positive feedback from the professional development and from the class he did on distance learning. Great feedback from teachers.
Thanks, Juliana. Yeah, we have had a huge response. I mean, the 12 sessions with 300 people. I mean, my numbers are, I have sticky notes with numbers of attendance on each one of them, and they're well into the 100s and almost 200s in some of them. So just amazing per session. So yeah, it's been great.
The teachers are getting a lot out of it.
Yeah, and we realized that some of the lessons that we're sharing and some of the ideas that we're sharing are coming out really fast and kind of like they're drinking through a fire hose. But we're letting our teachers understand that we're also following up with more pointed and more direct training for some of the skills and new pedagogy that's happening. So we appreciate that. Thank you, Juliana.
Okay. Kathy, may I share my screen?
Yeah, I made you a co-host.
Oh, great. Thank you. Okay, let's see if I do this right. Oh, I guess I need to find it.
So where are we now?
We're on item number
I'm trying to share my screen.
Item 11, information item, and Lisa's sharing.
Lisa's trying to share her screen.
Okay,
I apologize.
It's okay. We'll give them forever.
Okay, got it.
Here it is. Okay, can you see it?
I see it.
Okay, a spreadsheet. 45-day budget update. So in accordance with Education Code 42127, no later than 45 days after the governor's budget, the school district and our county office will make available for public review any revisions, any substantial revisions that have been made to the budget to reflect the Budget Act. So as you know, the governor did not implement the 10% deficit factor for LEAs statewide. So the general fund local control funding formula increased by just under $220,000. Our federal CARES Act funding, it's a combination of GEAR funding, which is the governor's emergency education relief funding, and the coronavirus relief funding. Both of those apportion or allocations are one-time in nature Those total $317,476 funds. And the state portion of the learning loss mitigation funding, which comes from the state general fund allocation, is $30,800 for our county. The total increase over original budget adoption is $565,724. So that's a substantial increase over original budget. I have not adjusted the expenditures. We will ensure that they align with the local continuity plan that was just discussed earlier, and to align with the goals of the county office. So once those are identified, we will be adjusting it, and then we'll bring it forward at first interim for you, for your review, for your approval. Basically, that's what we have. We didn't make any adjustments to the local revenue source at this time, but we'll adjust adjust that further at first interim as well.
Yeah, Lisa.
Yes, go ahead.
I was just wanting to know if this is based on ADA, average daily attendance, for the distribution of these funds.
So the distribution of these funds, I'm so glad you asked. Here is the methodology that the state developed for distributing the funds. It's complex, and each funding pot has a different methodology. I'm happy to share it, but here is basically a breakdown of the factors they utilize. The special ed component of the funds, they utilize the December pupil counts as of the fall census date from the 2019-20 fiscal year. And then for the state, they used a combination of LCFF funding and based on P1 as well. There are 3 different methodologies for the different allocations, and I'm happy to share this out to the board if you so choose. Here is the countywide view of what our districts receive, are anticipated to receive. Again, I'm not going to go into each one, but I'm happy to share this with you. It's just over $4 million that our county is receiving.
Thank you. Okay, is there any further discussion, please, or comments? Okay, item 12 on the comments, board members. Each member of the board-
Lisa, do you want to stop sharing your screen?
Yes.
With that?
Yeah, let's see. How do I stop sharing my screen?
Should pan down and say stop sharing.
I can do it. I just.
Thank you.
Kathy, question. Has any of our schools applied for the waiver for K6?
The waiver right now, because there's a freeze on, well, because we don't have any data.
Oh.
Remember, part of the waiver process is tied to the data.
Right.
And so if you have no data, you can't apply. So how we're operating right now is we're technically, even though we're not on that item, we're playing it by ear. We're hoping we'll get caught up by this week. They're trying to get their regular plans approved to begin with before they can even think about applying waivers. So.
Okay.
Okay, is there, I just wanted to expand on this. Any comments further under item 12? I can read this all out loud if you want me to, but I don't think it's necessary.
You're good.
That's what I've been told.
It's on the website.
Sometimes.
I have a comment or a question. Just generally, are we supposed to sign up for the CCD conference ourselves, or is Kelly going to sign us up? Or
that was one of my items. I was just going to read.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll wait.
Okay.
Kathy, I have sorry to spring this on. The legislation regarding COVID liability and schools, has that moved on? Do you know? Where are we with that?
Looks like it's going to be dead in the water.
Oh, that's bad.
That's what I heard.
CSBA would know.
That's what I've heard. I have a meeting on Wednesday regionally from 3 to, looking at my calendar, from 3 to 4:30 with an update from Dennis Myers. But I think that, yeah, it's not gonna go.
Yeah.
No.
And the feds don't look like they're going to play together either, so.
That is very
Hey, as far as board members, any other board member comments? If so, well, not so. If there isn't any, then we'll go to the county superintendent. Anything from you, Kathy? Further?
Yes, so I just wanted to let you know that Adventist Health has reached out to us and they want to help and volunteer. They've been donating PPE to us, but now they want to actually have volunteers going out and helping with delivery of devices, and we'll get back with them to figure out how they can help. I just wanted you to be aware of a great community partner. The Strengths Finder book that some of you need to retake and some of you haven't taken, that's on order and should be here. And when it does, we'll have Kelly contact you and you can come and pick up your copy of that. If you want to register for the CSBA conference, it's all virtual, and please contact Kelly.
CCBE.
Oh, sorry. Yes, CCBE.
And contact Kelly.
Yeah, contact Kelly. Yes. That's the one that we typically went to Monterey.
Right.
So. And then finally, as you know, the trustee area election filing ends on Wednesday for open seats that were not filed by incumbents, and then those that were filed by incumbents closed on Friday.
Anything else, Kathy? Is that it?
That was it.
Hey, thank you. So now we're at next meeting date, of course, regular meeting September 14th, 2020 at 4 p.m. video conference only. So that's not new. We know what's coming on there.
Right.
And so we move to adjournment. It'll be done by a first, a second, and a roll call vote.
Right. I just want to remind you the meeting on the 21st, that meeting we set will be at 4 o'clock as well. So.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So I need a motion for adjournment.
I move we adjourn our meeting for August 10th.
I second it.
That, Judy.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded.
Was that Judy?
Okay, roll call.
Nicholas Chernoff,
Aye.
Juliana Feriani,
Aye.
Casey Littleton,
No, I just want to say no for once.
Don Rowley,
Yep. Aye.
Cindy
I'll go.
Simonson,
Aye.
Rose Wingo,
Yes.
Judy Myers.
Aye.
The meeting's adjourned at 5:03 p.m.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Be safe.
Good to see you.
Bye.
Oh, by the way, I have a quick question for the staff there. I need to get in and sign a diploma, and I failed to make the last meeting that I should have had with the county there, and it was this last Wednesday. And I'd like to be able to get in the door so I can sign that.
Don, when do you want to come?
When are you available, or when are you going to be there, or anybody?
Kelly is here, and I'm here tomorrow. Tomorrow?
Yep. I'm here there Thursday, Friday.
We're both here tomorrow.
Okay. And
Both here
what
Wednesday.
time do you want me there?
Oh wait, hold on. I gotta